Free socks.
I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We work for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road.
What's up, JFW family? Welcome back to the Channel 23 podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to reach out and touch the fleet, to engage and inform everyone with all things JFW. Good morning, men.
Morning, everybody.
Hi,
morning,
everybody.
Happy
guys.
Wednesday.
As usual, we got the normal crew, Jim, Brother Dave, and Super Dave. Fair warning, Brother Dave is fired up this morning, so we're going to go ahead and do the disclaimer now. As a reminder, anything you hear on today's podcast is not the opinion of JFW's, it's just Dave White's.
He's going to grind some gears today.
Oh, man.
But we both have a
He's
lot.
going to hang some chains today.
Yeah. I mean,
On a warpath.
I should start it out, and since you've done the disclaimers, welcome all you asshole truckers. I just want to throw that out there, and we can explain that later. But
If you're going to throw it out, you have to explain it now so they don't just sit there and think they're asshole truckers.
well, that's what they are, Dave. That's what the
All truckers are assholes.
right,
That's exactly
right,
what she said.
Right.
Yeah.
So just right quick, you guys, we went to a meeting last night over here at the rec center for the 270 improvements and what's slated to happen, bike paths, environmental, no displacement of homes, businesses, things like that, concerns of the neighborhood. And me and Dave were the only business in the room out of, I don't know, what do you think, 20 people, 30 people in there, Dave, whatever there was?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway,
tops.
there was
and 3/4 of them were analysts.
a couple CDOT people, and the rest were just people from the community.
Right.
Nobody.
So
nobody,
basically a bunch of unemployed people.
well, self-proclaimed activists and
Unemployed.
So, yep,
Right.
yep. And the one lady, I mean, everybody was, you're not supposed to say anything rude. You're not supposed to do anything. Supposed to make it all inclusive and have a nice conversation and things like that. And about halfway through the meeting, she started out that I don't even know what was asked, but she goes, "I come from she tried to make it better. She goes, I come from a family of truckers, but basically all truckers are assholes."
Huh.
And me and David already introduced ourselves, and I don't think it was.
She leaned right over and looked at us and said, "I'm sorry, but all truckers are assholes."
Did she just mean the truckers in the room, or
All truckers.
All truckers.
All truckers.
Jim.
She was.
Take
That
it
was-
for how you want, because she doesn't know us and we don't
that
know
was
her.
just a
but
joke, guys?
It was not a good impression,
All 3.5 million of them.
right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, there's more than that, Dave.
I don't know. I thought there was 3 million.
Oh, way more
6
than
million?
that. There's 13 million trucks on the road. I hope there's more than 3 million drivers. I know there's a shortage, but we're not short 10 million.
Okay, there you go. That's even worse.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just not pleasant, when we talk about trying to, trying to change our industry. That's the reason we need to change the industry. That's the reason we need to be better. All Dave and I could do is sit there and smile and just, because we can't say anything about her
Should have invited
Or
her
her
down.
pink hair.
or her pink hair.
Couldn't make a comment about people with pink hair.
Should have invited her down here. Like, hey, you think we're all assholes? Why don't you come down to JFW? Come hang out with us for a day and see what's put into running a trucking company and check out our culture.
Yep. Take the high road, right, Jim?
Yeah, you got a phone number?
I bet she'd give it up.
Well, there's another
Okay.
meeting in about 10 days, so we'll see if she shows up.
Yeah,
Because
invite
the
her.
other activist left early.
Was that?
And by the way, she called us assholes in front of her 10-year-old daughter, not to mention in front of 30 other people.
Wow.
That's the crazy part. I mean, that's the level of this woman.
Well, you know what, our
She's running
friend,
for council.
I wouldn't be surprised,
I bet she thinks a lot of people are assholes, and remember what our friend Todd Fisher used to say.
right?
If you wake up in the morning and you run into an asshole, that person's probably an asshole. If you wake up and you're running into assholes all day long, you're probably an asshole. So, I have a feeling
Old
that
Todd Fisher.
Last time I talked to him, he said he listens to the podcast. So Todd, shout out. I hope you're listening, and we're quoting some of your material.
Yeah.
your material.
Go
That's a
Todd.
good description of it. Well, let's move on to some really awesome patriotic stuff. And if you're driving around, we ask that you join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Brother Dave, what's going on with the Star Spangled Banner?
Wow. So I got some information on Sunday. Let me see if I can find that page.
There's a lot of pages.
That on Sunday, March 3rd, back in this was, obviously 3 days ago, Sunday, March 3rd. In 1931, it became law of the land that the Star Spangled Banner became the official national anthem of the United States of America. And I guess I hadn't thought of that. Number one, I thought it was way older than 1930, right?
Yeah, I did too, Dave.
So then I did a little bit of research on it because they touched on it in what I was watching. But a fellow by the name of Francis Scott Key wrote not the official version, but basically the first version of the Star Spangled Banner during the War of 1812. And it was in September of 1814 that he wrote it. And he wrote it while he observed the fight for Fort McHenry, which there was a guarded entrance. It was the guarded entrance to the Baltimore harbor. He was thrilled by the sight of the American flag still flying over the fort after a night of bombardment by the British. He wrote a 4-stanza poem, Defense of Fort McHenry. It was the name of it, and that's what morphed into the Star Spangled Banner. At the time, it was a very popular British drinking song, and along the way, a lot of people have objected to the ancestry of it, but a little bit of history of it. The song became extremely popular after the somewhat ho-hum original title was changed to the Star Spangled Banner. People started to propose that it become the official national anthem, but it had competition of tunes like Hail Columbia, America the Beautiful, My Country 'Tis of Thee. They were also as popular at the time. Still, the Star Spangled Banner grew in popularity, especially after the Civil War. It began to get official acknowledgement. The U.S. Army started playing it at retreats, parades, and concerts, and it was officially recognized by the U.S. Navy in 1989, mainly for raising 1889. No, thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. 1889, especially for raisings of the American flag. But over the years, people made alterations to the music and the wording. By the early 20th century, there were multiple versions of the song floating about. President Woodrow Wilson, who ordered military bands to play the song at patriotic occasions in 1916, called upon the U.S. Bureau of Education to come up with a standard edition for popular use. The Bureau called upon 5 musicians for help: Walter Damrosch, Will Earnhardt, Arnold J. Gandevert, Oscar Sondick, and most notably John Philip Sousa. John Philip Sousa was America's March King at the time. Americans got to hear the standardized version for the first time December 5th, 1917, when it premiered at Carnegie Hall. So it took several times, but on April 15th, 1929, Representative John Lithcomb of Maryland introduced legislation to make the Star Spangled Banner the national anthem for the 6th time. This time, it would seem, was finally right. The legislation approved out of the committee passed the House of Representatives, and on March 3rd, 1931, it passed the Senate, and President Herbert Hoover signed it into law. I thought that was pretty cool. It was just information I had no idea about for the Star Spangled Banner, because I don't know about you guys, but the few times I hear it, boy, it makes me so proud to be an American when you hear that, and the few events I've ever been at that I was blessed enough that, the Jets fly over, or, a Broncos game, the Jets fly over and the guys are parachuting in the, in Mile High Stadium. I mean, I've only been to one game in the last 3 years, or 2 games in probably the last 20 years at Mile High Stadium. But, we used to play it at all the swim meets.
Right.
And it just, man, you put your hand over your heart and you're just blessed to live in this great land.
Yeah, it could give that could give you the chills for sure. I remember being at the Tarrant Goat Gun Show one day, and all of a sudden, like, they started playing it. Everyone turned, faced the flag, and like it went silent. And then all the different people that sing it, celebrities and
Right.
Bella, her school, and Bella they just went up to see you and sang it before the game, before a basketball game.
Oh, how cool is
A
that?
couple weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
To me, those are the things in school that teach you as a young American to be proud of America.
yeah.
When you stand, I mean, I remember as a child in grade school, you stand and you look at the flag and you pledge your allegiance to this great country. And I feel that's being lost. It's going to be in my closing thoughts where we're at with a lot of stuff going on in legislation. And I guess I hope all you drivers out there know we're fighting for you. The gloves are on, and it's going to be a battle. This year's going to be a battle with legislation in Colorado. So the fight's on.
All right. Well, got a couple updates for everybody. First one is from Rico. It says, "Good morning, Jam. Just want to give you an update on my cancer journey. The surgery to remove the spot where the tumor was/might be is scheduled for the 25th of March at Skyridge Hospital in Lone Tree. I will be in the hospital for 2 to 3 days and will be homebound after that for approximately 2 to 3 weeks. Once I'm able to walk normally, I'll be walking 1 to 2 miles every other day. The surgeon is also going to be attaching a temporary ostomy bag that we'll have for another 2 to 3 months, after which he will reattach my lower intestines back to my bowels. The recovery from this surgery will be approximately 6 weeks. I still have a bit of journey before me, but I know God is faithful and will be with me until the end of this journey and by my side for whatever is next. As always, thoughts and prayers are appreciated and coveted. Rico."
Hang in there, Rico. What a great attitude. He was
Yeah.
just by a week ago, and I was on the phone, and I missed him when he went upstairs, and then I was busy doing something when he went downstairs and went by. I was in another meeting, and he's just such an upbeat, high-spirited guy. I wish him the best. I'm so thankful everything's going his way through this journey.
Yeah, and then you hear like he has to have his like lower intestines reattached to his bowels, and it's just like it's some serious stuff going on.
It is,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
to see his good attitude is great.
Right?
Another guy with an amazing attitude is Stingray. I mean, he's going through some things, and that dude's always smiling, never skips a beat.
Right?
And then I know Manny Velasquez has been in touch with you guys. He actually sent an email. I'm going to go ahead and read that because we need extra prayers for all these guys. We need it for Manny. We need it for Rico, for Fish. So here's Manny. It says, "Good evening, JFW family. Hope all is well. I just want to shoot a quick email and give a quick update on myself. As you all know from my last email I sent a couple weeks ago, I think, that I'd started therapy and it started out good until the slip and fall. And I had, when I went to the doctor, they took x-rays and everything was good. But then I started to feel some unexpected pain and numbness, and tingling started to get stronger and stronger. And today I had therapy and had to stop in the middle of my session due to the pain. So I went to the orthopedic surgeon to see what was going on, and they took another x-ray and looked good. The rods and pins are in place, so the doctor ordered another MRI. Because the doctors think that I possibly might need the forced surgery to do another section/fusion, how far up I'm not sure yet, until we get the MRI done. So with that being said, I'm trying to keep my faith and positive attitude, but we all know how hard and stressful that could be after going through all this. All that I have gone through, I'm praying for a miracle and leaving it in God's hands, and I could use all the prayers from all of our prayer warriors out there. As soon as I hear any news, I will reach out again with more details. It's going to be hard not to stress, and I fall back into It's going to be hard not to stress and fall back into depression, but with God on my side, everything is going to be all right. I just got to be strong for my family. I also want to take the time to apologize for any inconvenience that I may have caused with all my JFW family and work. Man, no need for apologies about anything,
Right.
Manny. I hope to see you all soon. Be safe out there, family. We will talk soon. Much love and respect, Manny V. So then he got sent another email. Said, "Good afternoon, Brother Dave. Hope all is well. Just wanted to let you know the Spectrum Imaging Center just called, and I have an appointment Monday the 11th at 11. I'll keep you posted when I go and give you guys the results. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Much love and respect, Manny V." So there's another guy going through it, just putting his faith in God, asking for prayers, trying to keep the faith and keep a positive attitude. You know, a lot of life happens at JFW. So in the prayer, when we say we're praying for healing and 100% recovery, you know, for our family members, that's what we're talking about. And these are just the people we know about. There's people here going through some things we have no idea about. They keep to themselves. So with that being said, Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to go out and do some trucking today. We pray for the safety of our fleet, all of their families, and all the other families and individuals we come across on the road today. We pray for the patience and the making of good, safe decisions. We pray to be accident-free and that we all make it back to the comfort of our homes this evening. We pray for healing and 100% recovery for all of our family members that are ill. No matter what, we trust you, God, and it's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
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 Episode 121 had 529 downloads. It's not bad, not great. We're at 67.1 thousand total downloads, and we're up 5 followers. We have 550 followers. So
Ah, very cool.
That's
very
great.
Cool. Yep. And look,
550 followers and 529 downloads.
there you go.
Somebody's not listening,
Man, if we could only figure out who.
right? One day we will.
Yeah.
And then we'll be like, hey,
Did you listen to the podcast? Yep. Lies.
right?
Just kidding.
Are you sure about that?
Right. When we ask you questions, we already know the answers. So Bella's getting older. She's 9. She is quite the little firecracker, and she's into handbags now. So I bought her a bag from Iraq. She said, "Thanks for the bag, Dad."
Wow. That was awesome.
And then I saw in the news, it's kind of a question, but funeral homes are raising their prices due to the cost of living. Does that make sense?
Oh, man.
That's rough. This is
Yeah,
a rough
yeah.
crowd. I love it.
Well, along those lines, Jam, that self-proclaimed activist last night that was also there at the meeting, so I thought I would, just join in. So, did you hear about the activist who fought against gravity?
I have not heard about that.
Does he live in Commerce City?
They started an uprising. Do you know what climate change's activists' favorite movie is?
A climate change's activist, I don't know, Frozen?
Madagascar.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I thought you guys would love this one. This was a little pushing the envelope. An activist asked about my opinion on immigration reform. Apparently, I'm on the fence about it is the wrong answer.
Ooh, man,
Oh, that's a good one.
that's funny.
That is funny. Well, I have an animal theme today. I got 3 of them here that are animal related. So I buy a ton of stuff on Amazon, and last week I ordered a chicken and an egg. I'll let you guys know.
Huh.
Dave, this one's for you. What did the snail who was riding on the turtle's back say?
Oh man, I'm at a loss. I don't know.
Whee!
Oh, that's funny.
Then my last one, Jam, this is for you because of the dogs. I guess it could be for you or Super Dave, but I have a friend. He named his dogs Timex and Rolex. Do you know what kind of dogs they were?
Watchdogs.
Exactly. Good job, Jim. Good job.
Man,
Watch Dogs.
My brain was braining on that
Yeah.
one. It's a miracle.
All right. Well, let's see if you're still working on this one there, Jam. What goes up but never comes down?
Man, I feel like I heard this one in the 4th grade.
Climate change.
Temperatures, right?
Taxes.
Your age.
Ooh. Yep.
And why'd you mention me? I don't understand.
Because you're so sharp this morning.
You were on the
You
watch.
were on it, yeah.
Gotcha. Thought
Yeah.
you were calling me old.
Well, your
Not a
your
gray
age
hair on your
goes
head.
up just like everybody else's, right? All right, and then what 5-letter word typed in all capitals can be read the same upside down or right side up?
Wow. I have to picture all that.
You'll
5
never-
letters.
You never guessed, but I was like,
Ooh.
oh, wow, that's right. Yeah.
Ooh.
No. Swims,
Oh, yeah. Totally. Swims. Yep.
Swims.
because the M is a W, the
Oh,
other way
you
around,
turn around,
S's
back
are the
up.
same.
Yeah.
I.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's one for Bella.
I'll tell it to
That
her.
is a good one.
She could put it in her bag.
Her Baghdad.
Her Baghdad.
Thanks for the bag, Dad.
Everyone went. Yeah, everyone went.
Yeah.
New employees, we got Dean Lujan, John Dubal, and Nathan Lopez.
Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you
Yeah,
aboard.
welcome.
Yeah,
aboard.
welcome. And Norman Curtis is back.
Norman Curtis is back. Yeah, welcome, Norman. We had another guy start, but he got scared. So.
I was on the fence about that one. What Jam's talking about is we had a gentleman start training and stuff, and he just felt that this was too dangerous. I don't know if Ken got to the dumping
He
part.
spent
Or,
one day with Kendrick and said, this is too dangerous.
Yeah. No reflection on you, Ken, and I'm just joking. But
Way to scare the shit out of him, buddy.
He's like, is that going to happen to my finger? I'm out.
Oh,
He must
man.
have seen Scooby that day, too.
Yeah.
How come all the safety people are missing digits?
No reflection on all of you. But anyway,
Yeah, that's what I meant.
but for the guy to go, this isn't for me.
Hey.
He recognized it, and instead of spending a bunch of time getting through training, doing all that kind of stuff, he was like, "This is not for me." So I kind of congratulate him for stepping up and speaking his mind.
He knew he couldn't be that safe.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't. I called him out.
It's a tough call. I mean, you can go either way on it. It's
We've
like,
in the last 5.5 years, we've had that happen like twice. Guys like, oh, nope, I'm scared.
I I do thank him for giving me a shout last night and calling me. We had a long talk. I probably talked with him for 15 minutes because there's a million times, more than I can count, where people just bail. They don't call you. They don't text
Right.
you.
That's
All of
what
a
I
sudden,
mean,
they're
Dave, yeah.
gone. And as we all know, we call that ghosting. And more people nowadays tend to ghost you. So I thank the dude for giving me a call. So
We have other names for it too, Dave, but ghosting is probably the most descriptive.
yeah,
Politically correct.
there is an inherent risk to this job, but it's as safe as you make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tip one over? You can, but if you do what we
If
tell
you're
you,
not being safe,
you won't.
You know,
right?
So I asked him. I said, he goes, well, compared to what I was doing prior, and I said, well, what were you doing? And he
Delivering
goes,
ice
well, I was
cream?
over the road, and then all I thought, Dave, was that video we saw of the truck stuck in the snow on top of Donner Pass in
Right.
Truckee, California, and I
Right.
thought, and that's not dangerous,
Right?
Man.
4 feet of snow, you couldn't even see the wheels on these things.
I mean, watch our low light videos. Just pulling out of the gate every morning is dangerous.
Yeah.
Just being on these interstates, just being on overcrowded highways with people who aren't paying attention is dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah. Or how about how you handle your own business? The 8 seconds.
Yeah. I think it's more dangerous driving than dumping,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah.
You're in a contained environment.
Yeah.
You're responsible for yourself. When
Right.
you're dumping, you're not really responsible for anyone else.
Yeah, you don't have to worry
Right.
about somebody blowing a red light or
Yeah.
making a bad decision.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
everything's in your hands. All right, anniversaries. Edward Cabral hit 2 years, and John DeNava 3 years on Friday.
Nice.
Congratulations.
guys.
Happy
I should say
anniversary.
this Friday, yeah. And then birthdays, we got some big birthdays here, right? Rob White had a birthday on the 3rd. Jimmy V had a birthday on Monday. Armando Del Val, Chili Dog, and Jim Sr. all had birthdays yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, happy birthday.
birthday.
A lot of
gentlemen.
birthdays. Happy birthday, everybody.
Absolutely. And I just, for Chili Dog and Armando, you got a ways because Pops is 86 years old. So
Yeah. And Rob, he turned 40. And for me, 40 was rough. I was like, oh my God, I'm not 30-something anymore. I instantly felt over the hill when I turned 40.
right.
I hate all the sixes, starting at 36, because then you're closer to 40 than at 30. Then 46, you're closer to 50 than a 40.
That's weird.
56.
Looking at it that way.
Yeah, I hate all the sixes. It's like,
Huh?
over the hill.
You know that's why they called it the 4 Sixes Ranch for 16, 26, 36, and 46.
No, I had no idea what's that.
It's bullshit. I made it up.
Oh, gotcha. How old are you? 54, right?
Soon to be 56.
I hate that for you. Family birthday celebrations. Emilio's son Emilio and Dustin's son Jaden had birthdays on Monday. And then we got Giselle Areola, Olivia Romero, and Grayson Courier. They all have birthdays today. Happy birthday, kids.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Definitely.
birthday.
Happy birthday, everybody.
When you said that, Jen, when you said happy birthday, kids, it reminded me of Blinky's Fun Club for some reason. Happy birthday, kids.
Some people are offended by kids. I don't care. Want to give a shout out to Dustin Romero for walking his ass in the office the other day. Couldn't believe
Right?
it.
Wasn't that good to see? I
Yes.
didn't remember him that tall.
That's what I said. I was like, wow, you are so tall when you're not sitting down.
Right? Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. I was in your guys' office.
You guys are so far from politically correct.
No way. He looked great.
He did.
He did.
No, I
love
know.
to
I don't
see the
remember you.
shoe.
I don't remember you being that tall from sitting.
You're really tall when you're not sitting. Yeah. He's got to be over 6 feet. 'Cause
Oh,
I
for
felt
sure,
like I was
yeah.
looking up at him.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is awesome. Good.
Yeah, I was in your guys' office and I just seen this body walk by, kind of slow, and I noticed he had a cane, and I was like, wow, Super Dave's interviewing a guy with a cane, you know, in my head. Next thing I know, Dustin's in the office. I'm like, holy wow, bro.
Right?
Yeah.
He had this
really was
aura
awesome.
about him too, Jen.
He looked great.
He was proud.
He
Yeah.
was, man.
Yeah.
He came in, he was a confident man.
Yes, he
You know what I
was.
mean? Like almost as though this mountain of pressure
Yes.
Yeah.
has been
It's like,
taken
I
off.
did
Felt
it.
really good.
I made it.
He
Yes.
was truly taller
Yes.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he stood
yeah.
up. He stood
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
He,
Chest was high.
yeah,
Chin was
yeah.
up.
All the weight, and he took all that weight and he lifted it up.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. He had his favorite flannel on, matching shoes. I noticed all that.
He was styling.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Yep. And then let's see. Hello, Jim and Dave. I want to send a shout out for the podcast. I want to thank Jose and 004 for helping me with my air leak today. It was greatly appreciated, John. I'm assuming
John
John
Moore.
Moore.
I think so. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. And then Tracy wants to give a shout out to Randy Martinez for being really flexible and easy to work with and doing a great job on chorus. So nice job, Randy. And then he wanted to give Chili Dog a shout out for communicating so well on snow removal and weather updates. Now, I don't know if you know, Randy and Chili are related. Did you guys know that?
No, I
No.
Yeah, they're brother-in-laws. So
Wow.
Randy Martinez is Chili Dog's wife's brother.
Wow.
Yeah. It's interesting to me that Tracy gave Randy the shout out first. Like he holds Randy higher than Chili Dog. So good job, Randy. And then JR wants to give a shout. I know I'm 12 years old. JR wants to give a shout out to Damian Rubal. He pre-tripped and was checking tailgate latches and linkage and found it to be loosened backwards the first day he was in the truck. So that's a pretty big success. First of all, great job, Damian. I mean, well-deserved shout out.
Right.
But is our program working? Is all the stuff we doing that obviously clicked for Damian,
Yeah.
for him to notice the linkage was backwards?
Yeah. That's crazy. That is fantastic.
Huh. Awesome. Any shout-outs from you guys?
Yeah, I got a couple, Jim. We had a leadership team meeting Monday, and we haven't had any in several weeks. And I asked the team, what does leadership mean to them? And we went around the room, and everybody gave their opinion. And Dave brought it to my attention because I was impressed.
Thanks for stealing it, Jim.
You've got enough to talk about, Dave.
We were both impressed when me and Dave got talking about it, on everybody's opinion about leadership, and every person there had a different opinion of what that meant to them, and it was just refreshing and well done. I thought it was awesome. So I wanted to make sure I gave a shout out to the leadership team about what they recognize as leadership, and that's important, and it felt good.
It was truly a proud moment, wasn't it,
I
Jim?
was
like,
surprised. Everybody had a different thing, a different reason, a different
but
idea.
wasn't everyone great, Dave?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I sat there like it was a parent-teacher conference, and I couldn't have been prouder of my kid. That's seriously, and that isn't like, that sounds like there are kids, and I don't mean it that way. I'm trying to describe the feeling that I had. And when the first one went, I'm like, oh, I better write that down. I wrote that down.
Yeah, because it was pretty good.
Right? And then the next one went, I'm like, oh, shit, I better write that down. And I wrote all of them down, and I'm like, oh, my gosh,
Do you have the list?
I don't have it with me, Jam. So,
And,
yeah.
But the thing about it, just so everybody kind of knows in the context of how it happened, is there was no. I said we didn't ask them to bring their ideas. We didn't say what it was going to mean. I said good morning. How is everybody? And I said, hey, what does leadership mean with you? And I just started with JR, the closest person, and went around. So nobody had time to look it up or be different or think about it or anything. It was from their heart.
That's awesome.
It was really good.
Awesome. Wish I could have been there.
Wish you could have been too, Jim. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yep.
Glad you
Yep.
made it back for the podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Really glad.
Because without you, there's no podcast.
Exactly.
yay, I'm worthy.
And I don't know if we brought this up last week on the podcast, but I know we talked about it. But Chris England is going to be leaving us here in a few months. He's going to move down south and start a small business of his own, and I think his wife has some family down in the area there. But if anybody knows anybody looking for a mechanic or knows a good mechanic, want to throw that out there. But also just ahead of time, want to thank Chris for all he's done for the last several years, and he's grown with us, and we've grown with him, and we really appreciate it. Appreciate the notice he's given.
Yeah.
He's done a great job. So I wanted to give a shout out to Chris there.
I wanna piggyback on that. The one thing that I love that Chris did is he changed the vibe of the shop.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He is a dynamic young man.
Yeah.
Such a great personality.
Yeah.
Him and Ricky, always smiles on their faces.
Yep.
Doesn't matter how big the pile is that they're facing. You know what I mean? Just a pleasure to
Ricky's
go out
pile just got bigger.
Who's?
Ricky.
Yeah, it's. I guess the reason I bring it up because it's a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. It's a bummer. And then speaking of losing somebody, also is Brian has he been with us a month, 2 months? Brian Land.
Yeah.
He's been doing all the welding in the shop. Fixed I don't know how many trailers. Jumped right in there. He's a quiet individual. I hope he gets this or listens to the podcast. I don't know that, but he gave notice also, and he's not going someplace else or any place here. We didn't lose him to another company. He's moving out of state. Him and his wife, and they're going to try to better themselves. And just another shout out to Brian. Appreciate everything you've done. You've been here a short time, but he stepped in the building and went to work. That's what he did.
Yeah, we should offer him a driving job. Maybe that'll make him stay.
The funny thing is, he applied
That's
for a driving
that's why I
job.
bring it up.
Yeah.
And then I looked at his resume and I gave it to Mikey. I was like, man, you need to look at this.
Yeah, Mike's like, give me that.
So then he became a welder when he wanted to be a driver, and now he's moving out of state. So maybe we should offer him a driving job.
See if we can keep him. Yeah.
Well,
So
he's really moving out of state all the way to the other side of the country.
Yeah.
Where's he going?
South Carolina.
Oh, well, you said the other side. I thought California. I was going to try to intervene.
Oh man, is
don't do
anybody
it.
going out there? I don't.
I don't know.
I think that's more people are leaving, so there's more room for the immigrants.
Yep, exiting. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Any other shout outs? Somebody? Anybody? Bueller?
Awkward
No?
silence.
All right.
I'd like to give a shout out to Jared Polis.
Wow.
Let me write down this time.
Yeah. You can just leave the room, Dave. You are officially kicked off the podcast, everybody.
You poked the bear.
Man,
I just turned his mic off.
I
Don't
share
worry.
an office with him,
Not anymore.
right? I'm not sure if I'm leaving or he's leaving.
You just told me you looked at a house in Texas.
I'd be blowing,
I did.
I'd be blowing spitballs out of him the whole day.
I'm going to get stoned. Cut my pinkies off.
Brother Dave, you want to take the first topic in the discussion?
Where are we at?
TPMS.
TPMS, yeah.
TPMS. All right. What does that stand for?
Oh, man.
TPMS.
Toilet
That
paper.
Wow, Dave.
Total Positive
roll.
Management System.
Right. So TPMS, that's the tire pressure monitoring system on all the trucks. I mean, almost every day we get a call on the radio that says, "Hey, I have a low tire," and half of the time you get the question, "What should I do?" Or you get the answer of, "Hey, I got a low tire. I stopped, bumped it. Everything seems fine. I'm just letting you know I'm going to keep trucking." And we're like, "Sounds great." Well, the 30 trucks we have coming in, the replacement trucks, we just got notified that they will not have TPMS systems on them. And we're like, "Well, what's going on?" And we're not real happy with the TPMS systems that we have currently because we have so many faults. And we're currently short. I think Mike is over 146 sensors that we have out on 146 tires, and we can't get them replaced. So officially, the manufacturer that makes the system for Bendix that both PACCAR and several other truck manufacturers use is defunct. They're out of business. So here we are. The new trucks coming in will not have TPMS systems on them. And what doubly sucks is all the trucks we have here in the fleet, as we start having sensor failures on a truck, we don't have any way to fix it. So basically we're going to turn the systems off, and we're going to have to go back to old school, and we're going to have to use that 2-pound sledge, and we're going to have to re-educate everyone on how to bump their tires. And you're going to have to start bumping them during the day as well. And it's going to become a critical component. And I know a lot of people are going to sit here and say, "Well, my truck only needs one sensor, and that truck has 3 sensors out. Can you just take a good sensor out of that one and put on this one?" And man, you guys, the labor and the time that takes, it's just to the point it's not worth it. We have, we're approaching 200 sensors that are out in 200 tires. We run 1,500 tires. It's not worth it. The headache, the brain damage we've gone through. So as the systems start to fail, we're just going to have to continue to work through them. And I mean, it sucks. When we buy these systems on the trucks, they're $1,000 that we paid for. I mean, I can sit here and tell you we've got probably 80 trucks that have those systems on them. So we've paid $80,000 for systems that aren't going to work. I don't know about you guys, but if you made that investment, you'd be pretty pissed off and heartbroken, and that's where we're at. So now we're going to doubly count on everyone bumping those tires. I mean, we're going to go old school, and if you're out here at the fuel island and you don't bump your tires, you're going to get an earful from me, and you better get an earful from the safety team because you're not doing your job. You need to go through and bump those tires every night. You can walk around that truck and do it, and we need to start the habit and get in the habit and start doing it. So that's kind of where we're at on the TPMS systems. I'm sorry, it sucks. I mean, it's incredibly frustrating for us in the shop. And I know we've been fighting it for 6 months, probably a year, trying to get sensors. And
Is there another company that's going to step up?
No, Dave.
For the manufacturers?
No, and here's what sucks. So PACCAR is trying to purchase the patent on it. That's going to take at least 1.5 years. So, I mean, by the time they even get it bought, figure out some way to put sensors in, because the hiccup are the sensors. It's every sensor in every tire that the failure. The rest of the system works, and it's basically the batteries that are in the sensors. So, when a manufacturer makes something for a truck, they shoot for 5 years. They try and cover the first owner, right? If it goes beyond that, great, but they always try and cover the first owner. So the majority of our failures started 2.5 years in, and we've been fighting them ever since. So really just a shitty deal. It sucks. It's a bummer. You know what I mean? It's a painful situation, but that's what we've got. And, as always, we'll rise to the top and we'll find another way to get around it, and we'll keep on chugging. So again, the 30 replacement trucks that are coming this year will not even have the systems. And basically every truck in the fleet, even if it's a new truck, it doesn't matter. You can't get the sensors anymore. So, like the 5 trucks we just got in December, if those start going out, there's nothing we can do about it. So we've been screwed. We've been hoodwinked.
Did you learn why they went out of business? Just
I didn't even ask, Jim, to be honest with you. I mean, they're out of business. I can't explain it. Maybe they knew they had a poor product and decided to close the doors before they went bankrupt. Yeah. I mean, who knows, right?
doesn't Bendix make a lot of things though?
Oh my gosh, Bendix makes
Brakes?
so many components to the trucks, but it's the manufacturer that makes them for Bendix.
Oh, gotcha.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Definite bummer. Because I don't know about you guys, but it's nice to have in the vehicles, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was one of the big things when it started to come out, and we have it on the trucks that are over 4 years old. Those were the first ones we put it on, the 40 Kenworths and the 25 Petes that are 2020s. And man, when we put them on those, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. You just scroll to that screen, you look at the screen, it shows 10 tires and it shows the pressure in every one. And you're like, win-win, I'm solid. You back up, park, done, go home, right? Check the rest of your truck, but the tires on the truck, you just really didn't have to worry about it. For me, it was a visual. I know I've got 95 pounds in every tire here.
Yeah, I mean, still bump them, but it's nice when you're out traveling, like, you just know you're good.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Or if there's a problem and it's not a malfunction,
Right.
and it's an actual problem,
Yeah.
like, what did that save you?
Yeah, Mikey brought up one thing that has actually helped the shop rather than hinder them with the system, is we've found a handful of brakes that are stuck applied. And that's because it not only monitors the pressure, but it monitors the temperature. So we've had a handful of brakes that are stuck in those wheel ends, and the truck has picked that up because it's showing a high temperature. And, the shop, when you call in with this question or that question, they have the knowledge to go, can you check that brake end? Can you check that wheel end and see if it's hot? Be careful when you get your hand in there, right? Well, you bring back a little toasted marshmallow.
Jim, you want to take the next one on the mud flaps?
Sure, I can. Seems like all we got's great news today. I don't know. It's tough to stay up, but just want to talk a little bit, and it's more. We had a truck leave the other morning without a mud flap. The driver was aware of it, but kind of misunderstood what needed to be done. But we do the podcast, we do pre-trips, post-trips, different stuff like that. And the truck was leaving the driveway, and I noticed the mud flap was missing, and we called it out on the radio and got it taken care of. But there was 2 trucks sitting at the fuel island, and 1 truck right behind him following him out with the mud flap missing, and nothing was said. Nobody said anything to that driver or asked a question or anything. And we talk all the time about being better on the podcast, and all that came to my mind about that situation is the phrase "my brother's keeper," and it's a reference to the biblical story of Cain and Abel from the book of Genesis. It is generally understood to mean being responsible for the welfare of a brother or other sibling, or by extension, for other human beings in general. And I just wondered where that thought was of the other drivers, our other teammates. I mentioned quickly because I'm bitten by it from last night of being an asshole trucker and or all truckers are assholes. This is a situation where we can be better, and we all missed it. We didn't help our brother out. And by brother, I mean sister, brother, whatever. We didn't help each other out to be better. We don't drive without mud flaps. It's illegal, for one, and it's unsafe. It's not a good look. It's dangerous for the public as such, because there's nothing protecting a rock from coming off that big tire and coming directly at you. I can't imagine the job the mud flap does all day long, just deflecting rocks and different stuff. That part's not illegal, but not having that mud flap is illegal. So I just call on everybody to remember, you're your brother's keeper. And we're
Thanks, Jim.
and we're here to help each other out. And I wasn't so much disappointed in the mud flap missing. It was that nobody jumped in and helped. Nobody had the forethought to look at that and just ask a question. Hey, you're missing a mud flap. Do you know that? So, yeah.
And here's the thing, though, too. I got to throw this out there. He did know that, but he thought that he could repair it at his convenience. Mm-hmm. And that is not true. You've got to give a shout to the dispatch, tell them you're going to bring it in. When you get in, I mean, let's just say it came off on the last load, which it did, then you need to either fix it when you get to the yard or before you go out the next morning. You can't just wait and do it at your earliest convenience. It has to be repaired.
Yeah, and I mean, you're exactly right. There was that misunderstanding about that, Dave, but there was nobody, I don't remember what truck number, but he had to spin around that night in front of everybody. There's always somebody in their truck or sitting out there or standing or walking. When he backed the truck up and parked it with the mud flap missing, pulling out in the morning, and I guess, for me and Dave, when the truck pulled out, it was so glaring. I mean, you guys know what it looks like to be missing a mud flap.
Big time, yeah.
But, holy smokes! But
it's a big tire.
Yeah,
It's a big tire.
That looks weird,
right?
Yeah.
And just nobody said anything.
I should have said something, because when I woke up, I just felt something was wrong.
You smelled that flap,
smelled it,
didn't you? But that's the, I don't even know what people probably think. Speaking of assholes, probably think me and Dave are assholes for sitting in our truck a little bit, watching the fleet leave.
I can't believe how much you guys catch every day. I'm like, holy crap, we need to have a century, because I'd say 3-4 things are caught every single day.
Exactly.
Why is that?
Yeah, why is that? That's because I guess we're sitting there because I think we're our brother's keeper. We're not there to call somebody out. We're there to make ourselves better.
Make sure one of our trucks isn't driving down the road without a mud flap.
Yeah, exactly. So people in the public don't look at us as being assholes.
Speaking of brother's keeper, I got to thank Jonathan. Shout out to Jonathan, because he was the fella that called out another guy's load lamps on coming out of the pit this morning. So
Good call, Dave.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good job.
That's awesome.
Did the driver with the load lamps ever answer? Because I know
He answered JR
Oh, nice.
after a little minute, and he said, I just got him, and thank you very much. He was totally accepting.
Very
Definitely
cool.
not, did not have an attitude at all, just was replied very well and thanked everybody for letting him know.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
my question to you is, have they been on since he left the yard?
Well, nobody knows,
Yes.
but they're off
Right.
now, so.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the let's solve the problem. Let's work together, because the next thing on the list is exactly what we're talking about.
I want to touch on your Bible reference real quick, because I appreciated that. But there's another story in the Bible. A guy goes to Jesus and he's like, hey, I've done all these things. What else do I need to do to go to heaven? And he's like, well, you need to love God and you need to love your neighbor like yourself. So he says to him, yeah, but who's my neighbor? Right? So it's like, we're all each other's neighbor.
Right.
Like, there's no exclusions to that. And then just touching on you guys sitting out there and catching all those things, I mean, it just boils down to is everybody needs to care about what we care about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Everybody needs to care about their mud flaps. Everybody needs to care about their lights. These are things that we all need to care about collectively, and there won't be any call-outs when people leave in the yard. So you need to care about doing your pre-trip, and not just walking around the truck, but like looking at things while you're walking around. So
Yeah, that's a great other way to look at it, Jim, is who is your neighbor? And if you have to rudely, if you have to think about that,
right.
Wow,
You're missing it.
You're missing it.
Missing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
And I don't want to misquote the Bible, but the guy's like, hey, for example, like, I'm making all this up. I go to church every Sunday. I give my 10%. I check all these boxes that make me, allegedly a quote unquote good person. What else do I need to do? Well, you need to love your neighbor like you love yourself. Okay, but who is my neighbor?
It's so
Like-
funny, Jam, because you've told me a few stories about the one neighbor you have.
Oh, the meth heads across the street?
Yeah, and that's got to be hard to think about loving that family.
Yep.
I know you wish zero harm on them. I know none of us around here are people like that. But man, how can you love that family?
Yeah, it's so crazy, and just for the safety of my family, I care.
Yep.
If I was a single dude and that house was across the street, that house is across the street. But when I got to be concerned about my daughter and my wife,
Right.
that makes me feel a little differently
Right.
about it. At the same time, though, anytime the old man that owns a house, he's friendly enough, but just all the in and out, all the shit that goes
Right.
on there,
Yeah.
it is hard.
It is.
And it's like, what if I saw them stuck? Their car stuck. Would I go help them shovel it out? Or,
Right.
that ain't my neighbor.
Yeah, it just, speaking of neighbors, just reminds me, I don't even know if this story fits in our conversation, but we've had 3 neighbors right behind me in the last 13 years or 14 years we've lived there, and the first one was not good. The second one was in there very brief, and finally a young couple purchased the house. And young couple is they have 2 younger kids and stuff like that, and they did a lot of work on the house. They've and we've met them, introduced ourselves. They've done a lot of work on the house. They made a fountain, they've put in a garden, and they've done all this stuff, very active in the backyard, and they finished. They had like family over that helped them put in the waterfall and decorate it and all this planning, and they really worked. And so I told Holly, I said, we should just get them something, thanking them for being great neighbors, and a little gift for all the hard work they've done, because they've busted their butt. And we caught the neighbor, the wife out in the backyard, and we invited her over. I said, hey, do you have a minute to talk to us? And we just told him, we gave him a bottle of whiskey and some wine, and told him thank you for being good neighbors. And she looked at me and she kind of teared up, and she goes, I really thought you were going to yell at me for all the new noise and all the stuff we've been doing in the backyard. And I was just like, man, is that just terrible? And so yeah, it's just everybody's viewpoint. She was nervous to just come talk to her neighbor. And so yeah, it's a difficult world out there.
I wish people were nervous to come talk to us. We got signs to make them nervous, and they still come.
Shooting those guns off in the backyard might,
That might
have
do
something
it.
to do with it. In her defense, though, Jim, maybe she's kind of like that beaten puppy, and
I
she's
I was thinking the same thing, Dave.
You know-
Beaten dog syndrome is
Right.
what I was. Yeah.
Yeah, Dave, because obviously she's had bad neighbors,
exactly,
and that or been thought of as a bad neighbor.
many other encounters as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the funniest thing though is the one little boy. I don't know. I can't judge ages very well, but he's a little guy in diapers. But man, for a while he's not that way anymore, Howard. But he'd love to come outside and get naked. He'd come out dressed, and next thing you know, he was naked. And she was out there. Hey, you got to put your clothes on. What are you doing out here? And I'm just like,
You're 17 now.
Yeah, right. I hope it changes when he gets older, right, Jim?
Man, that was how
Well,
we
some
potty
people
trained
it
Sam
doesn't.
where we used to live.
Yeah.
Be outside in the yard. You gotta go pee? Yep, go pee.
Yeah.
What's that resort they used to talk about on Lewis and Floor Wax?
Oh,
They actually went there.
I don't remember him talking.
It's
What
like a-
resort?
The
The
nudist
nudist-
resort.
I don't remember that.
It's up by Conifer somewhere, I think.
Oh, is that the one you have the membership to?
Me and Jackie go there every weekend.
That's what you get for the Polis comment, Dave.
Jim, were you going to talk about the scales? It seemed like you were going to talk about the scales.
Yeah, I didn't read all this. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. But the portable scales were down on Santa Fe and Dartmouth last week. And we just, to me, when you hear about scales, sometimes it is just absolutely nothing. Hey, the scales, we heard they were over on 104th and Washington or something, and they just really don't mean anything to us, and you don't follow up on it. But I wanted to throw out there, especially with us getting busier here and new drivers and things like that, when somebody announces the scale, we need to act like that's what is the word, DEFCON 5.
Yep.
You know, when we're on full alert. And we had two drivers. I mean, one I get that missed the scales. They drove by and missed the signs and got a ticket for running the port. But when that driver got that, either as he was being pulled over or if he could take a second, and I know in the moment, you know, somebody had to chase him down. But you need to get on the radio and think of your neighbor. You need to think of your brother. You need to think of all the rest of your teammates here and go, hey, the scales are here. The signs are you know, I'm going to call them hidden. They're not very good, but, you know, I just got pulled in for running the port. I missed it. We got to inform everybody. And I want to say that to dispatch. I want to say that to the safety team. I want to say that to the drivers. I want to say that to everybody. If you hear or know about the port, you got to make a big deal out of it. It is truly DEFCON 5. Because you might, you know, Brother Dave made a comment, you know, I might load 80,000 or I might be at 79.5 just to run down there. But I'm not checking my axles. I didn't check my axles for the day when I left the pit. I could be, you know, 38,000 on my trailer, just how I loaded.
Right.
You need to know that. I would go around the port then, just because. Or you might, you know, hey, give me 27. I might be at 81.5. I didn't go back and dump. But you can't go through the port at that, and you would have been okay because you were on secondaries. But then the question is, how'd you get to the secondary, right? I don't want to confuse everybody, but when you hear or know of a port or there's port someplace, you have to make a big deal out of it for everybody. Why did we get another ticket for running the port? Because you know, in all of our opinions, after looking at the video and where the State Patrol set up, and so everybody knows, we wrote a letter to the State Patrol, you know, asking them, is this enforcement or is this trying to be safety? Is this trying to make us better or hurt us? Because
Because it felt like entrapment.
yeah, it was a money grab. It was shitty
It sucked.
on the patrol's way they did the scales. So we're not even mad at the drivers that got the tickets about, you know, running the port. It was shittily done and set up.
Shittily.
Shittily, that's a new word. But the point about it is let's help all the rest of our brothers, our neighbors, our teammates, and announce it. That it is a big deal, you know. So that was missed. We can't. That was easy to do, and we missed it.
Yep.
We're not taking care of the easy stuff.
We should have had one ticket, not two.
Yeah. And that driver should have been all over the radio. You know, I missed it. You know, and then maybe it's the thing of, oh, you're dumb because you missed the scales. No, we need to help. And I told everybody, if I was driving, there's no way I would have seen those signs, especially in traffic. I would have been paying attention to traffic, not the signs. You know, and then they were mixed in with construction signs. So just a poor job on the State
Yeah,
Patrol.
anybody that runs that route every day, I mean, we all do. It's Planet
Yeah.
13, so forth, you know, Union and everything, but I don't know if I've ever remembered them setting on that road before.
Right, Dave?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I
very.
mean, it was definitely different.
Yeah, very poorly done. And
They could have easily put an officer out there. I've said this a dozen times already, and he made eye contact with you and pointed you over. You know, but instead, you're expected to see a flag that's 24 inches off the ground. It's not even truck height. It's 24 inches off the ground on the shoulder of the road when you're 3 lanes away. That's BS, man. That is BS. Not a good showing for the State Patrol that day.
Yeah,
Especially when we're supposed to be partnered for safety.
Yeah, 'cause
What safety aspect was that?
yeah, there was no safety there, Dave.
Right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, we had no reason to run the port.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have to
maliciously.
say that because the truck that got the first ticket for running the port got a clear
Clean
truck
inspection.
inspection.
Level 3.
Yeah,
Level 1.
yeah, yeah. So there's nothing. Why would you run it? That's the whole point. Yeah, it's just poorly done.
And on a secondary road, we would have never been overweight. I mean,
Yeah,
you
probably
got-
shouldn't have been,
yeah,
right,
you got
Dave?
up
Yeah.
to 85,000 gross and then up to 45 or 40 on your axles.
42?
40.
40? Yeah. So, yeah, it's just, it wasn't helpful. You know, fine you set up, but don't do it that way. So, you want me to read the next one, Jam? Since
No. Oh, yeah. Go,
I mean-
go for it.
Who brought that in? Where did we find that?
what's that, Dave?
For the
Oh, I don't know.
camera,
I
the
thought it
red
was.
light?
I thought it was from Linda or something. Maybe
Yeah,
she heard.
I'm pretty sure that is from Linda.
Okay.
Crazy that it's been announced.
Yeah. Good job, everybody.
Right.
So, I take it as this spring, the city of Boulder will install 2 new red light photo enforcement cameras at the intersections of Canyon Boulevard and 15th Street, and 28th Street and J Road. Additionally, automated speed enforcement will begin at an existing red light camera located at the Broadway and Pine Street intersection. Automated speed enforcement is anticipated to begin on March 15th. Red light photo enforcement is anticipated to begin on April 1st. The city will issue warning citations for the first month of enforcement. As with existing automated photo enforcement locations, the city will install signage nearby each location to alert the traveling public of the intersections with photo enforcement. So I'm not familiar because I don't, and I think that has a lot to do with running out of Trinity and going to CMEX. I mean, I think those are the locations, but you guys are through Boulder or do deliveries for Boulder or whenever we're in Boulder. But, you know, again, we shouldn't have problems no matter where we go because we're not speeding and we're not running red lights, right? That's the whole gist of it. But here's enforcement, and they'll be writing tickets. So please, everybody, if you're concerned about those streets or whatever, I'm sure you can get with any one of us, and we can send you the list of what I just read.
Yep, good job. All right, let's talk about Nice Healthcare a little bit.
Sweet.
So Joanne sent me this. She said, I'm sure there are employees out there who might think they will never use Nice because they don't get sick. There are plenty of ways to use Nice outside of being sick. Our clinicians can offer nutritional advice and come up with weight management plans. Annual physicals are very important, even if you feel healthy. We just had a patient get checked for a skin condition, and a Nice clinician was concerned about the heart rate after doing a routine vital check and urged the patient to go to the ER. The patient found out they were on their way to a stroke, and it saved their life. 35 plus labs to ensure a full clean bill of health, and then free prescriptions we offer are definitely worth looking into. And of course, our mental health program can help combat the stressors at work. With this particular industry, so many folks would benefit from our physical therapy program. It's all about being better, and this is a free resource to help us all be better. Schedule that initial visit, share your history with them, and any concerns. It can take 25 to 45 minutes, but it could save you $300 a month or a year, which is a grocery trip or electricity bill. Why wouldn't you want to save money in today's world? So I could tell you a little bit more about my own personal experience with Nice. I think it was Tuesday night. I wasn't feeling that great, and I had already done my initial visit the week before. And it's like, man, I should go to the doctor, but that's a pain in the butt. And then I was like, well, not really, because I just got to make an appointment at night. This is at 10:30 at night. Got on the app, made an appointment for 10:30 the next day, had a 7-minute visit right here in this conference room, got a prescription for my cough. Done deal. Super convenient.
That's awesome, Jim. That's what it was intended for. And so far, I mean, I've heard a couple of things, negative about it, but it is exactly what they said it would be, and it's been helpful. And again, you're back to the saving money and time.
And time, yeah. Because I probably would have waited like, I don't want to go to the doctor, but to have an appointment and even making the appointment, I'm like, I have a cold. What are they actually going to do for me? But when I told the lady I couldn't breathe in real deep without coughing, bam, here's a cough suppressant, so, and I'm feeling better, so.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
It was a good deal. All right. Tell us of any situation out of the ordinary at the time it happens. And we keep going over this, but any accident, incident, ticket, citation, an aggressive driving incident, we want to know about these things right away so we can get ahead of it. Calling us, not calling us, but then having somebody call in or, telling us about an accident at the end of the day, or I backed into a bin at 10 a.m. this morning and it's 5 p.m. tonight. That just doesn't work for us. We want to know about anything that happens out of the ordinary. And then Joanne sent out a save the date for 5/4/24. That's May the 4th be with you.
You're going to need it.
You're going to need it, yeah. So that is a Saturday, I'm assuming?
Yep.
The time will be 8 a.m. for coffee, breakfast, and orientation. And at 9 a.m. the event starts. Well, what event? That's going to be our second annual truck driving rodeo. It's going to challenge drivers that participated last year to do so again and then bring another driver in this year. We do need volunteers. Sign-up sheets will be here at the main yard and yard 23 starting this Friday the 8th. Thank you, Joanne.
I'm looking forward to it. I hope that was just fun last year. I don't know what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for more participation. I'm hoping that it's just as fun as it was last year. It was interesting to see everybody, drive and try to do the challenges and stuff like that. So I think that's great. I know we moved it, from April to May, and I think it's kind of cute that we've done the May the 4th be with you. And, I'd have to throw it out since I was, I think, the only one that backed in the bin, that I'm going to have to say I hope the force is with you this year and you can accomplish that.
Right, you weren't eligible, but you basically won the competition. Yeah. I came in last place, just so you guys get a sense of what's going on.
Yeah,
if you came in last, I had to be second to last year.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been thinking about it this year, and there's no way I want to do it again.
You want to leave on a winning note?
Yeah, because I know I'll miss or do
Yeah, I did it, and then I think Kendrick was following me, and he's got his hands up, and I'm like, what, you can't run the cones over? I thought you were supposed to hit as many as you could.
Yeah, good stuff. Looking forward to it.
Thank you to Coleman, and I believe Heather O'Mara is his mom. She sent him an email, which got sent over to us, talking about preparing for 24/7 work and interchange closure at the C-470 and US 85 for bridge demolition. And I got a little printout here that talks about what's going on. But there's going to be a full interchange closure at 470 and 85 from March 7th to March 13th, which is necessary for public safety. And they're going to widen part of the US 85. So, Yep, they'll have to find alternate routes to get around that.
Yeah, going to that meeting last night, they were worried about the construction and what it would take and how long and what do they do with the traffic, why construction's going on and stuff like that. And I kind of was thinking to myself, kind of like the same thing as this. I don't mind the intrusion if work's being done because something needs to be done. Right. And we have to endure that and get through this and go a different direction. Take 5 more minutes to be able to drive different directions. During the constructions, maybe we stay off 270 or go around because what have we been having to do for the last 20 years?
Right.
Fight 270. I mean, we're going to get a chance to get it improved. Let's help them get it improved.
Sure.
Let's be positive about it.
Makes sense. Anything else for the discussion before we do tips and tricks?
I think we covered it, Jen.
All right, tips and tricks from Ray Davis. Efficiency and consistency. You guys have heard that term around here. Well, what is efficiency? It means to be able to accomplish something with the least waste of time and effort. And consistency means carrying out something the same way, or something staying the same as it's achieved in a particular way. Now that we're getting back into the groove of work with 5 a.m. starts, we need to get back into doing good pre and post trip inspections. Make sure we're getting enough rest for the long days, and getting into that routine of just doing our jobs and doing them to the best of our ability. Wearing our PPE at all times outside of the truck, cleaning out our trailers, and double checking our dispatches. Always check your Toro to see where you are going and what material you are hauling. If you're not sure, make a call to dispatch on the company radio and double check. Let's be consistent with our work habits and not be lazy. Trainer tips. Coaching drivers to avoid distractions. Next page. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration has identified distracted driving as the #1 cause for accidents for truck drivers. Distracted driving is anything that causes a driver to take their eyes off the road and their hands off the steering wheel. Distractions can range from eating lunch while driving to looking out the window to stare at a billboard. But the most common form of distracted driving is, you guessed it, cell phone usage. In particular, texting while driving. I tend to drive during lunchtime so my trainee can eat lunch. We can keep moving and they can eat and not be distracted. If I see a trainee trying to check their phone, I stop them and let them know that we can pull over and take care of it if it's actually that important. Let's set the bar high and be better than the rest. Hope all is well with the JFW family, friends, and listeners. Remember, safety has no blind spot. Look and lean. Sit up in your stool. Don't be a fool. Much love and respect always. Ray 0013. One of my favorite ones.
Yeah, good job, Ray.
It is
Appreciate
awesome.
it.
Yeah. And then just a little shout out to Ray. He kind of pulled a fast one on Ron Bugler, and I'm not going to go into details on it on the podcast, but it was kind of funny, Ray. But be careful what you wish for, man. Sometimes when you start a family feud, you may not like the turnout. So if Ron does something, you got to take it in stride, buddy.
We're not accepting that. You got to tell us what happened.
It is totally not PC, but if you want it, I'll lay it out there.
But I don't care.
Well, of course you don't. You don't know what it is.
Maybe you have to tell us when the mics are off.
I'll have to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't want to. It's a shot. You know what I mean? It's not PC, right?
Really?
It's a shot at some people's livelihood.
Yeah, and it's
Not livelihood, some people's way of life.
Yeah.
Right? So it's, yeah.
But
But it was all meant in good fun. It's
Sure.
good humor, right? I mean, it is what it is. I thought it was funny. So, anyway.
All right.
Are we heading to the high road hauling?
We are headed that way.
Oh, okay. I mean, there was nothing else on here. So I
Sounds like there is.
Yeah.
I just want to bring up right quick, you guys, talk a little bit about Infinity, because we haven't mentioned it anywhere on the podcast here. And I know Casey announced it this morning. And, when you read this and you go over the stuff from Ray about the distraction and cell phone use and something else, I took an Infinity test yesterday, and hopefully everybody else has had a chance to take it. And it was on FOCs. And I was like, when I started the test and looking at it, I'm like, what the hell is an FOC? What crap is this? And an FOC, and all of you will know if you took the test, is a fixed object collision. And then as they were going through the video, and they're showing, and it was freight trailers, but they're showing the ICC bumper bent, they're showing wheels bent, they're showing bumpers bent, the trailer scratched up, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, that's all our trucks.
That's us.
We hired Brian. Brian's main thing here was to repair all the accidents we've had with our trailers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is us. We're just plumb full of fixed object collisions. And some of them can be done at speed, some of them can be done at low speed, and so I think you guys, the Infiniti, I'm a little annoyed at the Infiniti because I'm watching the video and thinking I can take the tests and just pass it from memory. And I'm having to take notes on, is it 6 seconds or is the FOCs 20% of the collisions that happen in the fleet? And
You got to really pay attention.
you do.
And Dave keyed on it. You don't know what notes to take, right? Because you don't know what.
You don't know what they're going to ask.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so I'm trying to take notes on what I think they'll ask. And when I got to that test, I missed one. And I'm having to go back and watch the video, but then I don't know what.
So you don't have to watch the video anymore. There's a spot that says start video over or take quiz again.
Okay, so that function does not work on my phone, Jim.
Wow.
But
Okay,
I
good to know.
want to let everybody know I've never downloaded the app. I'm not running on the app. I'm not doing anything. I'm just taking the text and running it. So I kind of assumed it might be because I didn't download the app and the function, because I seen that yesterday, and it took me out. It kicked me out of the program.
I'll have to look. I did it on my computer, so
Okay.
that's not very easy.
I've seen that, Jam.
I didn't download the
I've
app,
not done it
Jam,
on my
and
phone.
I can either rewatch the video or just retake the quiz. It
On
says
your phone?
and they're right below each other
On your phone?
on my phone.
But
Okay.
Jim,
You guys
wouldn't
both
you like
got
to be able
Androids?
to pause the video so you could write what you want to write down and then restart it when you're ready to?
You can
You
pause
could
it.
pause it.
Yeah, you can pause it, Dave.
Yeah.
But you can't. But
can't fast
I
forward
didn't
it.
know if you
These
pause
are all
this.
40 and over problems.
No, I
usage.
I looked for a pause button and I didn't have one.
Just
But
touch the screen.
At the pause.
I'm watching on my computer,
Oh,
not on my phone.
You could definitely pause it because I've paused mine on
Yeah.
my computer. Yeah. There's a pause button.
And then I thought, and maybe you guys will correct me on this too, because you can't fast forward it.
Can't.
You can make it go back.
true.
You can make it go back, but you can't fast forward it. And I did like the button there going, you don't take quiz again, but obviously it didn't work. Or didn't work when I tried it on my phone.
So you saw the button, you just couldn't hit it?
No, I hit it and it took me out. It kicked me out of the video.
Wow.
I had to restart everything, Jim, to go. And then I'm like, well, I'm watching the video now again. So
Yeah, the one thing I didn't love is it doesn't tell you which one you got wrong.
yes, you
So
can't.
like if you took 4 and they're like, you got 3 out of 4 right, it's like, well, which one did I get wrong so I could make an educated guess? you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. It's frustrating, but it's like frustrating because you're learning something, and it's bringing up things.
It's frustrating because you're learning something.
You definitely
I know what you mean, but it sounds funny.
I don't want to learn anything new. I just want to do the same thing I've been doing.
So on yesterday's test, Jim, the one with all the backing, right? Mm-hmm. I purposely didn't watch the video. I played it. Amber came in the office. I talked to her, and I let the video just keep playing. And she's even like, "Do you need to be paying attention to that?" I'm like, "No, it's a back-end video. I'll get through it." I think I took the test 6 times.
Well, that's funny, Dave, because I did watch the video and I got it, and I was like, at the end of it, I'm like, if I don't get this right, I'm going to be pissed because I should know what to need to back
Right,
up, right?
right.
And I did. I got 100 on it,
Yeah.
but I did watch the video, and I'm like, that's the key they want. That's
Yeah.
the key they want, and passed it. But I really thought I'd pass the FOC one, and like you're kind of saying, Jam, I just missed one out of, I think there was 5 questions on that. Had no clue what that.
Right.
What did I get wrong?
So then you change one you think you might have got wrong. Now you got 2 wrong.
Right,
Yep,
because it
yep.
doesn't. Yeah,
Yep.
you don't know which one you got wrong.
And at that point, that's the reason it's important to be able to retake the test, not watch the video again. And so I like that option if I can get it to work. So, but yeah, I just want to bring it up. You guys were I don't know how many people are upset by it, bothered by it, because I voiced my opinion that I like the FOC. What the hell is an FOC?
I was looking for a meme and I was going to make one because I couldn't find one, but it was just going to say low road, low road.
I wrote everything but that in the email, right? Yesterday, Jam, like, I'm on the low road, you guys. So anyway, it makes you better. And that again, what we're after, maybe it'll let you take care of your neighbor.
Here's
You
the
know?
thing, guys, is we are in week 3 of the test, so we need to talk. Casey's putting together a little something.
Yeah.
And we'll have to sit down and make a decision on.
Yeah, it'll be fun when JR finishes the dumping video, and I know I made reference to that last week, but
Right.
we've all seen it. That was one of the things we went over at Monday's meeting, Jam, that you
Yeah.
missed, and it's going to be a great video, and have some great questions on it, I'm sure. And I guess here we are, just sitting here talking about safety.
Right.
The whole purpose of the podcast, we're talking about safety, and who cares if you had to take that test more than once? It's driving home the fact of safety. If you're listening to this podcast and you are complaining about having to take a safety test, you are not our culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? You are not looking at getting better.
Man, I think he really just dogged me, you guys, because I complained yesterday about taking that video. So.
If you don't want to do anything to be better, well, that's fine.
Okay, I got you guys' point.
But we're already picking up people that haven't even taken the test.
Right.
Yeah.
Is my point. They
Yeah.
haven't even watched the video, and I'm like, how can you not watch a safety video? How
Right.
can you not?
Well-
Where is your will?
I mean, and here's the thing, because we get passionate, right? So I could see the names of people who didn't take it, and I start feeling a certain type of way about that,
Sure.
you know? And I want to express to them, like, as nicely as I can, like, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
Like, why wouldn't you do what we're asking on this? But then I just think, like, well, you know what? If we actually buy this program and do it, we've talked about receiving your safety bonus, not the amount, but receiving your safety bonus will be dependent on doing these safety trainings.
Right.
Right? It won't affect how much it is. That'll be the same, but you got to do the work or you're not part of our safety program.
Yeah.
So
Could you imagine being pissed off about having to watch that?
to get money.
About having to watch a safety bonus to get your safety bonus. You know what I mean? I can imagine some disgruntled person quitting and going to work somewhere else, and they're at the other company and they're bitching. Can you believe it? JFW makes us watch a safety video to get our safety
Yeah,
bonus.
I was gonna get $1,200. I was gonna get $1,250 for a quarter, but they wanted me to watch,
A safety video.
A 5-minute
For-
safety
for-
video. Is that the dumbest thing you've ever heard of?
Yeah,
It's rough.
Oh, man. Yeah, and I guess the same thing that we're asking for that safety video, and I don't know how many times I've said it during the podcast, but I don't want the person's opinion, when we were in that meeting last night, that's what we're trying to change with these safety videos. Because if you're safer, that makes us look better out there on the road.
yep.
So help change somebody's opinion.
Anything else on your sheet there, Jim?
No, that was my last note, Jam. Thanks for
Good
Yeah.
job bringing up the infinity, Jim.
Yeah,
throwing that in there.
It's important.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think last week we spoke and we had 90%.
88.
Okay,
From week
88%. And gosh, Casey sent something out yesterday. We're at
Yeah,
16%.
we were 17% on this week's video, but
Yeah.
it's still early.
What?
And then the
So that
second
dumping
week,
video, I'm refraining from saying it, but that dumping video that JR made, there, as it shows a truck dumping, because we're trying to drive home the point, you have to be level. And up in the top right-hand corner of one of the videos, it shows this little inset of another video while you're watching his video, and it shows a truck. I mean, it's about to tip
Shows
over.
several.
It's 3.5
Yeah.
stages up. It's leaned so bad, you guys. I can't believe it's still standing upright. And there's this dude standing in the front pointing at it with his thumb. He's like, "Are you sure about that? Are you sure about
You
that? You sure about that?" And I cannot get. I mean, every time you say something, Jam, I just want to reply like, "Are you sure about that?"
And what was good feedback about the video from the leadership group, the steering committee there, is that Ann and Joanne obviously were there too. Those two have not dumped a trailer, right? I mean, they know the process, they know what we do and all that. And they had the best questions because they were trying to learn how to dump. And that video showed them that, and they came up with, what is that? And gave JR feedback. And I'm like, that is perfect, because that's taking somebody that's never dumped one and going, oh, why is that way? And it was great feedback. It's good. It was a good video.
Soup,
Agreed.
you want to hit us with that high road hauling?
Sure. got I wrote all in here that anybody can kind of use for their improvement or growth along the way of their life journey. But everybody's heard of a mindset. Okay, you develop a mindset when you're going into battle, or you're having a life event like having a baby or something like that. But most people think a mindset is a static part of your character. But this little piece here might change your mind on that. And it's about changing your mindset depending on your situation. So we frequently hear and read about the importance of mindset. There's a growth mindset, a grit mindset, a warrior mindset, and so on. Having the right mindset is critical for achieving excellence. But many of us just go with the mindset we wake up with, or the one we have developed based on our personality, upbringing, family, or other factors. We may tweak it around the edges, but that's about it. After all, it's gotten us this far. The best performers see mindset differently. To them, mindset is not a default, it's a choice. They don't just accept and tweak their mindset, rather they define the best mindset for each of their roles in life, intentionally transition into those mindsets, and actively practice them through their attitude, effort, and behavior. So embrace multiple mindsets. We each play different roles in life: work, partner, parent, sibling, child, friend, teammate. Each of those roles can demand a different mindset for success. For example, adopting a gritty and competitive, ambitious mindset may be great for work or sports, but is generally not a recipe for success as a partner or parent. To be excellent in each of your roles, define the best mindset for that role. Pick 3 to 5 words that describe the mindset you want to inhabit. What are the markers exhibited by those successful people in that role? The ones you admire the most? In the role, the ones that you admire the most. These may not describe your natural mindset. They may be too aspirational. Write the markers down and memorize them. When you are in that role, they define who you want to be. And learn how to switch mindsets. You don't necessarily want to bring your work mindset home with you, so adopt a standard routine when transitioning between roles. Think of yourself as a dimmer switch on a light. When you are coming home from work, dim down your work mindset and light up your home mindset. You could do this via music, hard charging, energetic tunes on your way to work, more chill stuff on your way home, or by simply repeating your mindset markers to yourself a few times. It doesn't matter what your routine is, it's just that you have one. Practice makes perfect. Finally, you need to practice your chosen mindset by expressing it through your attitude, effort, and behavior. These are the only things in life you can control. Anytime you run into adversity, activate your chosen mindset through all 3. For example, if you strive for a growth mindset, you want to perceive challenges and setbacks as learning opportunities. When you hit a rough spot, set your attitude by telling yourself out loud if it helps. I'm going to learn from this and get better, for example. Your default may be to retreat and stop trying. Instead, double down on your effort. Learn from what went wrong so you can modify your behavior and improve. The takeaway from all this: mindset is a choice. Define the mindset you want to adopt for each of your roles in life. Transition into the mindset by repeating its key characteristics as you transition, and practice it through attitude, effort, and behavior. This is how the very best performers become the best. And I've got a couple of quotes for you this week because I liked them both, and I just thought, man, they both apply to this so well. First one: when there's a setback, someone with a fixed mindset will start thinking, maybe I don't have what it takes. They may get defensive and give up. A hallmark of a successful person is that they persist in the face of an obstacle, and often these obstacles are blessings in disguise. That was spoken by Carol S. Dweck, and she is a professor of psychology at Stanford. And the next quote is my dad, and I love this. I can see my dad doing this. My dad encouraged us to fail. Growing up, he would ask us what we failed at that week. If we didn't have something, he would be disappointed. It changed my mindset at an early age that failure is not the outcome. Failure is not trying. So don't be afraid to fail. And that was spoken by Sarah Blakely. She's been on the Shark Tank, and she is the founder and former CEO of Spanx.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
who that is. I can picture her. Yeah.
A billionaire.
Yeah.
She's a billionaire because
Right.
of that little invention
Yeah.
of hers.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty good stuff.
Yeah. And how much did her dad create that?
I would bet a lot.
Right? Absolutely.
Her mindset, all of her
Absolutely.
teaching over time, her resilience, all of that stuff.
Yeah, because what was the quote from the Harvard professor?
You want me to read it back?
Yeah, please.
Sure. When there is a setback, someone with a fixed mindset will start thinking, maybe I don't have what it takes. They may get defensive and give up. A hallmark of a successful person is that they persist in the face of an obstacle, and often these obstacles are blessings in disguise.
yeah.
And that's that learning curve. You know, when you fail at something, you get up and you give it another try.
Yeah.
You don't give up and say, oh man, I don't have what it takes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the mountain.
Makes
in
you
front of
stronger, right?
Yeah, you either have to climb it or shovel it out of the way or go around it or whatever, but you've got to get to the other side of that mountain. Otherwise, you just turn around and go back where you came from. Right?
That's right.
So, yeah. I wanted to make it just because it was a Harvard quote, like a Harvard professor. I wanted to make
Stanford.
Stanford say that was same difference. Say it was crappy, but it was a pretty good quote. I'll go with it.
I would bet a degree from Harvard will get you farther in life than a degree from Stanford.
Really?
I do,
Because
yeah.
I think it depends on the don't argue with Super Dave, but the degree.
I'd have to look. I think they're both Ivy League.
No, there's no West Coast Ivy Leagues. They're all in the Northeast or New Jersey, Brown, Princeton, which is Pennsylvania,
Yeah, there's like 13.
Harvard's Massachusetts, Yale's Connecticut.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, everybody?
Yeah, I can.
You want to go last?
No,
I think Dave should go last.
I'm just like, I still don't even know what to say. I'm like
Well, it's kind of
pissed and lost.
Yeah, it rolls into one, Dave, because I know Super Dave made that comment, and we talked about it last night going home, and this is not part of my closing arguments, but I guess it's going to be is, being called names in that meeting last night, our political temperature of Colorado, all the things we face here at work, work and trying to be better and things like that, it becomes overwhelming. And that quote in your high road hauling, Dave, is it's pretty easy for me to give up this morning, and just like, hey, I could move to, I don't know if Texas any better or a small town. I mentioned to Dave, it makes me feel like moving to a small town and not participating in this stuff.
It sure does,
because
Jim.
it just beats down on you always.
It does.
And I touched upon it last week, and I know I talked about a tree, and after talking about it, I had a couple more stories pop up, and I wanted to read this and just discuss it a little bit because it has to do with your high road hauling, has to do with us trying to participate and have a thick skin if we want to participate in having a voice in the rebuilding of 270 out here. But it says every life form seems to strive to its maximum, except human beings. How tall will a tree grow? As tall as it possibly can. And I talked about that last week. Human beings, on the other hand, have been given the dignity of choice. You can choose to be all, or you can choose to be less. And that's where I struggle that sometimes I just, like this morning, I just want to be less. I just want to be I don't want to worry about it. I don't want to try to make a difference, all that kind of stuff. So you ask yourself, because we have the dignity of choice, so why not stretch up to the full measure of the challenge? See what you can do. Imagine every night of your life going to bed knowing that there was more inside you And I think about that is there more inside me? Is there more inside our neighbors, our brothers, our teammates, all of that? And I think there is, but it becomes a struggle to do that every day. Imagine running a race knowing there were other levels that you could have reached, but you didn't. And yet, on the other hand, imagine looking back on a life of infinite possibilities and know you created infinite parameters. That you can control all that. You gave everything you wanted to every parameter. And I think about this story or this quote or this conversation is, we talked about it several times. The lady that called me and Dave, or truckers in general, all of us,
Assholes.
Assholes. You like, and we sat there and smiled. We didn't rebut. We didn't get upset. We didn't show disdain or anything like that. But I want to have the energy to change the parameters of that conversation. Just like you said, Jim, the high road is to invite her on the podcast and show her all the people here and all the people in the industry that are trying to do it different. By having this podcast, we're trying to be different. By asking you to take an infinity test, we're asking you to be different. And I get it from the bottom of my heart. I understand how hard that is to make that choice to want to be better, not to move to a little town, not to just not care, not to watch TikTok videos all afternoon, all that kind of stuff. I get it. Not to, have somebody come in the office when I'm, busy trying to scan documents and not make a mistake and go, hey, how are you doing? Just stop everything and have a conversation. Especially when we read about our teammates and our brothers and our neighbors that are having serious complications. I'm lucky. I don't have to have my was it intestines disconnected from my colon? Is that what Rico's having done?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yep.
Dave, the stuff you've went through in the last few years. I'm fortunate right now in my life that's the season I'm in. And I need to capitalize that. And I from your High Road Holland, I feel like the gist of that story, or what I took, is you need to get up and you need to have an attitude and you need to fight every day. That's what it's the best for all of us. What makes us better.
Develop the warrior mindset today.
Yeah,
because it'll help you out.
Yeah, but I also get how damn hard that is.
It is.
I understand.
Every day is different, and some days you're just not up to the task.
No.
Well, for some people, just getting up is the task.
That's exactly right.
Right.
But I want them to understand. I understand that, Dave.
Right.
Right. I understand that. Do I know if I can help them? I'm not sure, because I can get up every morning. You know what I mean? But maybe this podcast helps you get up in the morning. I don't know.
I hope it does.
There's just so many tools that. Like NICE. That's a tool we're trying to present to everybody, but is it a challenge to make that phone call and give up 25 or 45 minutes? Yeah, but we're telling you the benefits of free medicine, or the convenience of your time, or all of that kind of stuff. The infinite, the fixed object collisions. Will that
the FOCs?
Yeah. Will that stop you from backing in a bend today? When maybe you listen to this podcast this afternoon, and tomorrow when you're backing in the bend, instead of blindsiding it, you make one more pull-up. Or you're just plain, because the one video is goal, get out and look. Like, holy shit, I'm going to hit that wall. So yeah, just lots of stuff. I hope the podcast give everybody the power to be better.
Love it. Soup, any other final thoughts?
Yeah, touching on what you were saying there, Jim, and this is just really off the top of my head. I was talking with my daughter on the way home the other day, and she survived a pretty good layoff at her work. And what she does is she is a software, I'll just say, analyst, I guess. So she runs software for a company that creates medical systems for companies or states. Like she was previously working on the software that applied to the medical system for the state of Massachusetts. Okay. And then they lost that contract. The company lost that contract. So she wasn't doing anything for like a month. And this was towards the end of the year. She was afraid she was going to get laid off because she had no new assignments coming through, you know. And then she got placed on a new team that is working for a whole new client. And I'm sorry, I don't know who that client is, but it's a big deal because every application is different. So the people in the state of Massachusetts have different needs, different requirements, different literally everything, which translates into different software for that program. And she said, Dad, you know, it's really tough. I'm learning all this new language every day. And she goes, it's just a lot of work. And then just last week, she found out that 20 or 30 people got laid off within the company. And I was like, well, I'll tell you what, that just shows you every day you have to go out and give 100% of what you got.
Yeah.
If you ended up getting laid off at that point, then you have nothing to worry about because you feel confident going in. You gave everything that you had to give in that situation,
right,
for that time. And I said, you just keep giving it your all, and you're smart, you're quick, you know you've got it. You can succeed. And I think everybody needs to keep that in mind. If you give 50% and you get laid off, that's on you.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Good pep talk, Dad.
I like that.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Good. I guess I'm the only one left, and I still don't know where to start. It sounds like we're going to have to go down and testify at the Capitol today, this afternoon at 1:00. The Colorado Motor Carriers Association, they've been working with a congressman down there, or a senator that is from Routt County up in Steamboat, and he wants to pass a couple super aggressive laws here in Colorado, and it's basically because he wants to do it. There's 5.8 million people in Colorado, 150,000 people in District 8 that he's the senator of, that has 111,000 voters. And I bet he doesn't have 100 people of his constituents that want this bill. He wants it. And you guys, he wants to make chains basically from Denver here all the way to Utah, from Wyoming all the way to New Mexico. You have to carry chains. And the thing is, it's for every vehicle over 16,000 pounds. And that is ridiculous. So, as a matter of fact, I thought they were going to use I-25 as the boundary, and they don't. They're so far east of I-25. They're beyond Brighton. I would tell you they're almost to Keensburg on I-76. They're to Kiowa, south of I-70 there, and still even east of Pueblo and east of Trinidad is where the line goes straight down from Wyoming straight down to New Mexico. And you guys, why would a mixer truck need to carry chains in Colorado? Because this guy deems it necessary. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then any vehicle over 16,000 pounds, have you ever seen an elderly van that carries 20 passengers or more? They would be required to carry chains. The little milk trucks. I mean,
you brought up sorry to interrupt you, Dave, but UPS.
Yeah, UPS, FedEx, all of those little delivery vans, right?
And if you never go in the mountains, you'll be required to carry them.
Yes,
locally.
Yes.
I guess I just want to push that point, Dave. Just so I understand it too, that everyone will have to use chains that you don't use.
Right.
And this senator thinks that's what we need to do.
He thinks that's a good idea.
Yes.
Not his district, not his people, not the 111,000 people that voted him in. He thinks this is a good idea. The CMCA has been working with him for weeks upon weeks. We thought we had it relegated back to just the I-70 corridor, And I mean, these are some of the, this is a short list of some of the few vehicles that would be affected by that. Milk delivery trucks, food trucks, senior citizen buses, mobile dental and medical RVs and buses, public transit agencies, city and county vehicles. Most do not have chains on them because they're not commercial motor vehicles, but because of their weight rating, or they're not up there in the winter months. Airport airport shuttles, rental trucks, laundry and uniform step vans, larger package vehicles operated by Amazon, UPS, and FedEx. The costs this would create for those industries. Again, why the heck does a mixer truck need chains? It's not going to be out in a snowstorm. No one's placing concrete in a snowstorm. It is ridiculous, you guys. Why do paving tandems need chains? They're not paving. We've Rob White, God bless you. You come in my office almost every day. I love the fact you do that. Congratulations. You just celebrated your 40th birthday. It was a surprise this weekend. I'm thrilled I got to sign the shirt that you brought in yesterday and showed us all, or the day before. I think it's so awesome. You have so many friends and family that threw you a surprise birthday party, but you've said one thing repeatedly to me, and by God, I believe it. It shouldn't be called common sense. It should be called uncommon sense. If it were common sense, everyone would have it. It's uncommon sense because not everyone has it. It's not common anymore, and I've become a firm believer in that. And if I get my chance today at the Capitol, I'm going to sit there under oath and say that because it is ridiculous. I'm going to make a point to that senator that he is not supporting his constituents. He doesn't have a bill with 1,000 signatures on it that 1,000 people in his county want that. He wants it, and it doesn't help. And then the even bigger part of that, the next part of his bill that he wants, and I've brought this up, I talked about it a couple weeks ago on the podcast, you guys. He doesn't want trucks to be able to use the left lane from Morrison all the way to Glenwood. That's 150 miles you will not be allowed in the left lane. So, going to Fry's, if you were to happen to get caught in that left lane, I don't even know how much the ticket would be, but you can't be in that left lane. Here's the hang up with that. I think we'd be all right. We can use the right or the middle lane to pass a loaded vehicle going up there or going down, right, to Fry's. I keep calling it Fry's, I'm sorry. To Wallstrom Quarry. I apologize for calling it Fry's. It's Wallstrom Quarry. Martin Marietta, Wallstrom Quarry. It probably wouldn't affect us 20%. We might have a 15 or 20% dinger where we got caught behind traffic that was all grouped up for a slow couple vehicles, a slower vehicle being passed by a little faster vehicle. So those two lanes are backed up, right? But what the heck do we do from that exit? Right there, from Wallstrom Quarry all the way to the tunnels, that's 2 lanes. And you're not going to be allowed in the left lane? No truck in the left lane. Think about that. What do you do when 30 trucks are lined up, bumper to bumper, struggling behind that oversized load that can't run more than 40 miles an hour and a car is trying to get on the on-ramp? What's going to happen? There's going to be an accident because I tell you what, you're going to have 1,000 pissed off truck drivers here in Colorado. They're going to be pissed. That's become a restricted to that lane. You are now restricted to that right lane, and it's bullshit. It shouldn't happen. That should be a vote. It's wrong. Also, the other side of that, when a car's getting on the on-ramp, what are you going to do when you're coming up to an exit and that car puts on its blinker? I'm going to be like, screw you, dude. You want me in this lane. I'm going to stay here in this lane. I'm not going to let you over. That mindset is going to happen. I hate to say it, but that mindset is going to happen. And it's everything that Jim preached about, calling us asshole truckers. They're now promoting that. They're provoking it. It's ridiculous. I mean, to drive 150 miles. So you have, after you come out of the tunnels, it's 3 lanes. And then right there in Silverthorne, it goes right back to 2 lanes. And it's 2 lanes all the way to Utah. I don't know where else there's 3 lanes. Maybe somebody can spit it out. Even if you can, I don't care. You still can't be in that left lane. It's BS. It's wrong. This senator is 34 years old. He's a puppy. He's never driven a big truck.
Right.
It's pathetic that we voted a man like this in the office, and he's going to ruin what we do in the mountains. He's going to dictate to us how we can do our business, how we can run our business. Do you know how long it's going to take to drive from here to Glenwood? If you get caught behind an oversized load, do you know what it's going to do to our rates? Guess what? We're going to have to raise our rates. Guess what? we're already short drivers. Guess what? You may have to spend the night if you get caught behind an oversized load because we legally can't drive that far. Now your rates have just skyrocketed. What does that do? That drives your costs up. Inflation. It all quantifies your cost of living, which go up and up and up. And thank you, Mr. Government Man. It is ridiculous. What they are doing to us is ridiculous, and it's what they want. It's their initiative. He doesn't have 500 people in his county asking for this.
Has Colorado State Patrol got involved in this at all?
Jam,
Do they have
it's
a
so
voice?
pathetic. The poor Colorado State Patrol. Did you know they only have 1/3 of the force they need in the mountain areas because their troopers can't afford to live up there? Do you think this is going to lower the cost of living or continue to raise it up there? It's oxymorons. It's ridiculous. So we don't have the patrolmen to enforce the rules that are there. So what do? Let's make more rules.
Right.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, we have it. I have it right here in writing. Right here. This bill does not address some of the key problems affecting the corridor today. There is nothing to address a major problem as to the lack of adequate enforcement personnel. The State Patrol does a great job, but they only have 1/3 of the officers as called for on the I-70/Western Colorado half of the number of officers as of 5 years ago.
Wow.
They have 1/3 of the officers they had 5 years ago. So let's put more rules in place that we can't enforce now. It's pathetic. When I sit here and I say you need to vote, here's the reason why, you guys and gals. You need to vote. You need to vote for people that have your same beliefs. They share your same passions. These people are crazy. The rules, the regulations they want to create, right? They're going to put another 400 rules on the books this year. Right? I've said it weeks and months ago. In the last 10 years, they've added over 4,000 regulations, rules and regulations, and laws. They're laws. They've added 4,000 laws in the last 10 years to the books. And we don't have enough police to enforce what we have. Fastest growing industry in the United States is government. It used to be small business. Guess what? Small business employed people and paid taxes. Who pays for the government? Your taxes. I mean, look at the circle. Look at this circle, you guys. Government is growing, small business is shrinking. Your taxes are going to go up. They have to. Please vote. If you don't vote, register to vote. Vote for people that believe in your common beliefs. Vote for people that make sense. You know, think of Rob White and go, hey, that doesn't make sense. That's not common sense, is it? No, it's uncommon sense. That's probably not a very smart person. We need some common sense. So everyone has it. And, you know, I touched upon a few little things there. When you look at this paperwork, I'm sitting here, you know, I have one sheet from the CMCA that says CMV Highway Safety Measures, CMCA's position on it, you know, the things they're trying to pass. There's one thing on this list that I agree with. They want to allow, in doubling the fine, they want to double the fine for commercial motor vehicles speeding in the Glenwood Canyon. I think that's great. If you're speeding through the Glenwood Canyon and you get a ticket, it should cost you double.
And that is a no passing zone. That is restricted to the right lane.
Absolutely, Jam.
And it's a curvy, windy,
It is
dangerous,
an awful road.
That gets closed all the time.
Absolutely.
You did the research on
right.
that or heard it.
I'm good with that.
Right.
I would look at that senator and go, hey, great thought. Let's penalize the bad guys, right? Not penalize all the good. You're just they're off their rocker, man. I can't stress it enough, you know. And I said at the beginning of the podcast, I'm here to fight. I'm here to support you guys because everybody wants to rally behind someone who fights, whether they lose or not. You're going to rally for them, right? You want to cheer, and yet, you know, Jim sits there and says the same thing I'm feeling. It gets old. You get tired because you're fighting a fight that the odds of us beating this are pretty slim to none. And we are going to get what we've asked for by either not voting or not voting for the correct side, right? The people that don't want industry, they don't want trucks. You know, that lady at the meeting last night that called all truck drivers assholes. By God, let's prove them wrong. You know, let's fight this. And we've said it, we've talked about it. It feels as though the United States are heading for another civil war. It just really does, and it's going to come up to, when I say us against them, I don't know what that means, but at a certain point, something has to change, and these elected officials, they have their agenda, and it is not supporting us. It is not supporting us. It's very, very sad. You look at how broke Denver, the city of Denver, is so broke. You guys can Google it. Kyle Clark just did a video on it. He interviewed Mayor Johnson. He didn't interview him. It was in an interview, and Kyle Clark shows it, that he says, so you're laying off city employees? And the mayor goes, oh, no, we are not doing layoffs. Just the hourly people won't have any hours. They're not allowed to get any hours. I don't know about you guys.
What
I
does
know
that
JF, you're laid off, right, Jam?
Yeah, that would be like you guys tell me, hey, Jim, you still got a job, but
You can't have any hours.
you can't work the next month or
Right?
That's exactly what on the news, Jim.
The city of Denver is so broke after dealing with the homeless and the immigrant crisis. They don't have any money, and they're penalizing all the
hardworking people of Colorado.
Yes. So all the hourly workers in the city of Denver aren't going to be allowed to get any hours, i.e. not go to work. So I don't know what they're going to do, right? That's just going to cost city of Denver more money.
It's just really scary. Like, if you just think about the snowball effect everything can have. I mean, you've been preaching it for might be years already, just the way Denver and Colorado's treating small business, right? And then all these little things that are making everything tighter and more pressure. Like, at what point does it become impossible
Right.
to do business here?
It's unbelievable. And then city of Denver sits there and cries, and they're asking the feds for more money to take care of, I think we're at well over 46,000 illegal immigrants in the state. I mean, there needs to be a way to address that. I don't want to open a can of worms, but we can't afford that. They shouldn't be here, and we shouldn't be paying for them, because you're going to pay for them, I'm going to pay for them, everybody's going to pay for them. I don't know about you guys, but they take enough of my money. I pay enough in damn taxes. I'm done. I'm done paying any more in taxes, and every freaking person we vote for wants more of your tax money. It's got to end sooner or later. Somebody needs to wake up. If you don't vote, you better pull your head out of your butt, and you need to start voting. If you're voting on the wrong side, again, you better pull your head out of your butt and start voting, because the way they're driving businesses out of Colorado, out of Denver, that's what pays the government. The government can't continue to support. And guess what? They're wasting your money. City of Denver just spent, they're well over $5 million on just the homeless. I don't know. Well, they're so broke now on the migrants, because we're a sanctuary city. Denver is a sanctuary city. They're broke. They're telling the people that work for Denver, sorry, we can't give you any hours. They've already cut hours at the DMV. I don't know what days they're going to be open for Denver. The Parks and Rec, whatever hours they've cut there. You paid for this already. You have paid for this, and they're doing what they want with your money. When are you going to wake up? God, when are you going to wake up? So, love me, hate me, I don't care. I'm fighting for what I think is right, and I hope everybody else thinks it's right. You should be allowed to have your voice, and they should listen to it. They are our elected officials, and they do what they want, not what we ask of them. So, need different people in there.
I have a question for you. When you say you're done paying more taxes, what does that look like?
Done paying more taxes?
Yeah.
Jam, we have to fight not to pay any more taxes.
Gotcha.
When they just continue to raise proper, I mean, how does the federal government put on 88,000 employees going to work for the IRS? How do they afford that? Has anyone ever done the math on that?
Taxes.
Right? That's just 88,000 IRS agents. Oh my God, 88,000!
Huh.
I mean, it is no different from what they just recently enacted when we've talked about the FMLI. How many employees did they have to put?
339.
339.
This is just Colorado.
Yeah, just Colorado for FMLI, the new program. all those employees, and you're paying into it, we're paying into it, but you do know that you're paying all those people to have this program.
Right.
And that's where it's like, it's not, they're taking your money and creating programs that they need more people to create programs for. And it is just scary. I was going to, I know we're going long here on the podcast,
No,
but
not really.
Something that came up is listening to you talk, Dave, about the meeting last night is, Jam or Super Dave, if you go to buy a car, what do you might look at the price of the car, but why do you look at the price of the car? Why do you check that?
See if you can afford it.
Right? See if you can afford it. And then that tells you all about, what kind of car you can get and everything. So in this outreach program, we talked about bike trails and community and everything else. And at the end of the meeting, somebody asked, are you funded? Is this project funded to go ahead and build 270, redo 270? No. They don't have any of the funding except to replace 4 bridges and funding to put on outreach programs like we attended. So again, there's your government, like Dave's saying, they're
Wasting your money.
they got projects to be done that they have no funding for. They don't have the money for it. How can, if you don't have a money for the new car, do you go out and buy a new car?
Some people do.
I was going to say that. I don't, but there's lots of people that do. That tow company up the street on Newport's pretty damn busy these days.
And the point of that is, look what's happens,
Yeah.
right? And Colorado's paying all these people to do this outreach program because they got funded for the outreach program, but they don't have the funding for the highway. And he said, but don't worry, we're going to get some special grants.
The funny thing is, they were funded in 2019, and Polis took $5 billion out of a $7 billion federal road program. He took $5 billion from it for green energy. He took $5 billion from your roads, bridges, everything here. $5 billion he took because he has the power. He took it. It was for our roads and our bridges. He took it for green energy. Good news is he's got more solar, he's got more wind, he's got more this, that, and the other that's green. It's clean, right? Don't care about your roads.
Yeah, and then they brought up on one of the lanes last night. It was kind of funny, being a bus lane, not an HOV lane, a bus lane. Do you know how many buses run on 270?
Very minimal. Like
I'm curious. Take a guess, Jim.
Yeah.
like routes, like actual routes,
Yeah.
or
Yes.
number of buses.
Yeah, but number of buses, routes.
I would say there's probably 10 routes.
That's exactly what I would think, or something like that. It makes sense, cutting across the from Aurora to Arvada.
The word you're looking for is corridor.
Corridor.
Jim.
Yes, thank you, Dave. The corridor. Okay, so there's one bus route, and that's not RTD. That's not serving any part of the community here. Commerce City, nothing. Aurora, Arvada, nothing. It is the Mustang buses that make the long trips. That is the only bus route that takes 270.
That like to Boulder, you mean?
Yeah, like to Boulder.
Wherever.
They'll go to like Glenwood. They'll go to Wyoming, I think.
Oh,
They were purple buses. They had Mustangs on them. They called them the Bustang.
The bus thing. Okay.
Yeah, the Bustang, and I mean, you don't. So that's the bus.
So there's not a city bus.
Nope.
Not on 270.
Wow.
Nope.
Nope. Because 270 is a corridor. And what that means is a corridor is through something, right?
Yeah.
We only have one stop. It's Vasquez. That's it.
Right.
We only have one exit on 270. I mean, you can get off and get on at York, but it's still the major is Vasquez. So, yeah, when they said that, and I'm like, oh my God, you want to dedicate a lane to a bus that comes and goes one time a day
Right.
instead of opening it up for 3 vehicles? And they've already made it clear the third lane will be an HOV lane. It's just an easy money grab for them.
Yeah.
So keep in mind, every single time you license your car in Colorado, and you pay your RTD tax, that, by the way, is a failing by hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right.
It's a failing program. Huge article in the paper a week ago on it. They're going to put a whole new board of directors in place, and instead of being elected to that position, they're going to appoint people to that position. And the whole basis of the article, that would be like equivalent to rearranging the chairs on the deck of the Titanic. It's still going down, baby.
After they hit the iceberg.
Yes.
Not before. After they hit the iceberg. Why don't you guys all change chairs? Because we're still going down,
Yep.
but that's going to help.
Yep. No one in government can balance a checkbook. They don't know how. There is no budget. It's an endless budget because all they do is keep grabbing your money. You guys, we're in a time, a civil war is coming, and it's going to be ugly when it happens. I hope everyone's prepared for it. And I'm not talking, we're not going to have electricity and you're going to need to go hide in the woods shit, but it's going to get ugly.
Never know.
Yeah, and you never know, Jam. I mean, it's sad. It is. We're in a sad, precarious place, and our fathers and our forefathers weren't here and have never dealt with what we're dealing with. So we need good people. We need thinkers. We need leaders. We need people in position to help guide us and get back to a normalcy. We can't continue on the path we're on with big government, and big government is just getting bigger. It can't be the number one growing industry in the nation, and it is.
Something I wanted, one last thought. I'm thinking of all this stuff, Dave, and I know you're going to go down to the Capitol today with the other trucking companies and stuff, but all these years about making trucks have chains is we've had people killed and everything else about having chain up stations. That's been something that the CMCA has fought for, and we all talk about there's no safe area to get off and chain or take them back off and everything like that. And I know this law is to carry change, but that map might as well be all of Colorado. I can't believe he just didn't include the rest of Colorado.
It's a horrific map.
Yeah, it's so big. So if they do, you're carrying chains. There's no storm in Colorado. But what if Denver. So what if there is a storm in Denver and they decide to put the chain law up? And somebody's going to try to do it. Hey, this is the law. I have chains. I need to chain my vehicle. Are they going to stop on 270?
Right.
And chain the vehicle? Where is the safety for our family and our drivers' safety? Where is that concern? Not that they have to have chains.
Jim, it's one of the talking subjects on the western slope. There's only one chain up area coming west or coming east.
Absolutely.
Right. So when they put it up in Grand Junction, where are you going to pull over and chain up?
Yep.
And the bigger thing we've fought for years and years and years, where's the unchained stations?
That's the part.
If you put them on, you got to take them off somewhere.
Yep.
I mean, I guess that's what I'm getting at. This is a 34-year-old man that was elected to senator, right? He's never driven a truck. He's never been in the mountains in a truck. He doesn't know anything about a truck. Never been in one.
Does it say what about being from here?
He's actually from Steamboat, if you can believe it.
Wow. Born and raised?
Don't know if he was born and raised.
Because
he's from Steamboat.
I bet he's not born and raised.
Probably not.
What's his name?
Roberts, and it is I don't know. If you just Google Senator Roberts, several photos come up. Just pick the 12-year-old, the one that looks like a 12-year-old.
That's how me and you look, huh, Super Dave?
Right.
I'd like to think so. I don't really think I do anymore.
I guess the only reason I pick on that, you guys, is how can you represent a state at 34 years of age when you're just not seasoned? You haven't seen a lot. I'm not telling you can't do a bad job, but you can't create cockamamie rules like this because he's never seen a... Picture just our fleet of 100 trucks.
Oh, sorry. So he was born in Routt County. The problem is he went to school in Boston.
Right.
Yeah. So
liberal.
I was trying not to bring any of that stuff up, Jim, because I know people don't like hearing it.
I don't mind.
Right? Again, still, can you? I mean, I remember way back in the day, just what it took to get 25 trucks from here to Bandimere for the truck show. Just the bog of vehicles we would have on the interstate to get 20 trucks together lined up. Can you picture our fleet right now? Line up bumper to bumper 105 trucks and go from here to Glenwood in the right lane. And I tell you what, when those people want off at an off-ramp or try and get on at an on-ramp, woo, it's going to be a disaster. So when there's a car coming up next to you, we always talk about what are your options, right? What are your options? Well, if you can slide over, slide over. That way you don't lose any time. It's safe for the vehicle next to you. Now you're not allowed. Sorry, bud, I can't get over. What do you want me to do? I'm loaded. I'm not going to hit the brakes. I'm already doing 30 miles an hour because of the oversized crane I'm stuck behind. My God, vote. These guys are idiots at the helm. You have to do something. It's,
You know, even now when you're stuck behind a real slow truck on Eisenhower or whatnot, the trucks that get stuck behind that truck, I mean, it's like 10 of us, you know,
Yes.
and everybody's screaming on the radio. And could you imagine, you know, every single truck on the highway? Like you said, 100 at least.
yeah, Dave.
In that group, because everybody's going to pile up behind that one truck.
They haven't done one study. Not one study.
Jim, don't forget to bail your brother out. And it'd be funny if you're like, but who is my brother?
Forgot him.
I think we'll teach him a lesson and just leave him in there over.
Who's your
night
one
to
phone
night.
call? My brother's keeper.
Yeah.
I'm out with that, you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more to rant and rage and be pissed off about. And, you know, I ran into a couple guys here that said they don't vote. And I was just, I'm like, oh, don't you care about this? Don't you care about that? And you know, it's so hard to just run into that and face it and come up with a positive spin on, hey, listen, this is why you need to, right? This is why you need to. So, and then to keep an upbeat attitude and go fight a guy like this.
Right.
You know, especially when we've been negotiating with him for over a month and thought we had the chain law across the state done. We thought we had it relegated back to at least I-70, right? And then to continue with the left lane restriction. Man, so disappointing. So disappointing. Yeah. So, there you have it, Jim.
There you have it. All right,
Until all the
everybody.
Colorado truckers go on strike like they've done in France
Right?
over stuff like that.
I guess that's what I'm getting at, Dave. I mean, over there in Europe, man, the farmers,
Oh, yeah.
they're pulling loads of fertilizer and throwing it over the doors of their, I guess, capital, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Blocking highways with it.
Yeah.
Just dump trucks full of shit.
right?
Yep.
I mean, that's what we're coming to. And
That's the type of civil war you're talking
Yes,
about, Dave.
yes,
Is because
Jim.
where we feel we have no choice.
yes,
Yeah.
we have no voice. We are not your constituents. You were elected by us, but you do what you want, and it's wrong, and it has to end. It has to stop.
Well, everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Channel 23 podcast. Smash that follow button. Also, don't forget to go back and listen to episode 72 to help find Amber's mom. Links to her story will be in today's notes. Let's say the creed and get on out.
Sounds great.
Together we face and overcome all that stands before us. Together we are accident free. Together we joyfully create honest value for those we serve. Together we celebrate our differences and respect those with whom we work. Together we are accountable for our words and our actions. Together we are the JFW family. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We work for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. I hear there's a couple million tons to move. I see them everywhere. So you best get out their way and watch that sand and gravel disappear. There's another run to make. We gotta get it there on time. And we got what it takes to lay it all out on the line. We'll lay it all out on the line. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks got the best drivers in town. They got all the tools they need to keep that hammer down. When they hit them scales, they won't need to dodge them, won't need to duck them. They just keep that hammer down, and they keep that diesel trucking. Keep that hammer down, and keep that diesel trucking. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a looking for another load. They just keep them doors closed, keep them butts in their seats, 'cause those customers are calling, and those red trucks can't be beat. They've gotta put the hammer down and pick up another load. Get it off the ground, keep them eyes open and on the road. Keep them eyes open on the road. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Breaker 23, anybody got a copy on that Channel 23 podcast? Welcome, and thanks for listening.